SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader.
Your top story is the South Africans now have another low-cost airline option, and Big Brother celebrity Bradford Wood is found not guilty on charges of murder. Good afternoon. Santaco Airlines has officially taken to the skies. The airline has been launched at Lanseria Airport north of Johannesburg. It will initially service routes between Lanseria, Bisho and Cape Town in an attempt to make flying accessible to millions of commuters who rely on minibus taxis. The taxi industry services around 15 million people countrywide. President Jacob Zuma has lauded the launch of the airline. He's described it as a major step in demystifying the myth that the airline industry is the preserve of only established white-owned business entities.
An unfortunate perception which should be shared that air travel is the exclusive preserve of a privileged few. Santaco is therefore opening air travel to the masses, building on the contribution of other low-cost airlines that entered the market recently. May the Santaco Airlines bring pride and hope to the millions of South Africans, as your slogan boldly suggests, fly with pride.
Meanwhile, the chief executive of the South African Maritime Services, Tsietsi Mogele, says the launch of Santaco Airlines presents an opportunity for the taxi operator to venture into the commercial maritime industry as well.
We are very excited about the launch of the Santaco airline. We on the shipping side holds a view that democracy and freedom start with being free to move from point to point. I've been in discussion with their president, Mthembu, and we did put a challenge to them to say, if you can do it in the skies, why don't we partner and we put the same effort on the seaside? I would say to South Africans, watch the seas. Very soon, you'll see Santaco and fellow South Africans, simple people, taking off to the seas as well.
And tickets for Santaco airline flights will be available from retail supermarkets and major taxi ranks. Big Brother celebrity Bradford Wood and his four co-accused have been found not guilty by the Dalmas Circuit High Court in Mpumalanga. The five were accused of murdering 4 illegal miners at the Aurora Grootflame mine near Springs in August last year. Judge Andre Lowe ruled that the 5 accused were acting in self-defense when they shot the illegal miners. Reporter Rochelle Seaton-Rogers is at the court.
Judge Andre Lowe found that Brad Wood had acted reasonably and in self-defense by firing shots at the illegal miners. He said he had no reason not to believe statements from the 5 accused that when they had gone underground, there had been a flash and a sound which they took as gunfire on them from the illegal miners. Lowe says he believes Wood returned fire thinking they were under attack and he wanted to protect himself and the 4 he was with. Lowe says he didn't think that Wood and the 4 other accused had gone down into the mine with the intention to kill. Rochelle Seaton-Rogers, SABC News, Dalmas Magistrates Court.
The International Relations Department has declined to comment on reports that Minister Maite Nkwane Mashabane would not have her handbag scanned at an Oslo airport in Norway. Reports suggest that her refusal cost the South African taxpayer more than 200,000 rand as a chartered flight had to be hired for her. Asanda Matsaonyane reports.
The minister was on a state visit this month when she refused to pass her handbag through an X-ray scanner. As a result, she missed her scheduled commercial flight to her next diplomatic engagement in Bulgaria. A private charter executive jet was then hired to transport her. It was unclear what the minister was carrying in her handbag and why she was keen to avoid security screening. Departmental spokesperson Clayson Munyela told SABC News that he was not going to comment about the reports. I'm Asanda Matsaonyane for SABC News.
Grain SA's chief executive Yanni de Villiers has advised farmers to plant more summer grains like maize in the coming season rather than less. He says although Grain SA appealed to farmers to plant less maize last year, the situation has changed. De Villiers says this year the markets are more favorable and prices are good.
We have tried to rather develop the market on the demand side than to manipulate it on the supply side. We have exported about 2 million tons the previous season. This season, in all likelihood, will also be about 2 million tons being exported. Could be even more. And I think the demand is still very strong in the world. There's some growth in especially the East, Middle East. Those people are all eating more value-added products like meat and poultry and so forth. So the demand is strong. And therefore, I think the farmers should rather plant more than less.
Your top story this hour, Santaco Airlines has officially taken to the skies. The airline will initially service routes between Lanseria, Bisho and Cape Town.